Hi everyone. I hope you all are safe and sound at your homes. Let me start by introducing myself. I'm Charvi Jain. I'm a counselor, psychologist, psychotherapist, and founder of Over a Cup of Tea, which is a psychological wellness center. We provide counseling and other psychotherapeutic services to all age groups here. The topic that I've chosen to address today is motherhood and self care. And while motherhood is a rewarding and joyful experience, it is also almost all consuming, full of endless demands, sacrifices, sleepless nights, and countless unscheduled interruptions. Needless to say, one of the first casualties of motherhood is free time. After I became a parent myself, I learned that while there are many resources to help women transition into motherhood, there is very little focus on the importance of self care. And my guess as to why this is the case is perhaps because mother's self care isn't attractive enough for the mainstream media, and also perhaps because most moms are not ready to admit that they can't do it all. Yet I know for a fact that every mother at some point takes on too much and becomes depleted. And she knows it even if she won't admit it to her closest friends and family because of the fear of being judged. After all, what kind of mom puts up her own needs ahead of her kids, right? So, well, we have all started living in an age of overparenting. We treat it almost as an Olympic sport. The problem is, we are confusing the amount of time we spend with our kids with the quality of our parenting. But the fact is, the quality of your relationship with your child is not directly correlated to the time you spend with them. And once you accept that, it'll be easier to figure out what you actually need to be the best parent you can be. Then, of course, there is this deeply conditioned mom guilt that prevent many of us from indulging in self-care. And this so-called mom guilt is pervasive among mothers. Adding to it also are the enormous expectations that our society has of us, friends, family, even media, about a mother, how a mother should be like, what we should do, should a mom return to work or not, breastfeed or not. But no matter what choice a mother makes, whether to work or not, to breastfeed or not, she is judged either way. So many moms I know, they feel like they're abandoning their babies when they move out of the house. A lot of them also feel that they're missing out on things that is happening during the day. Um, there's of course a lot of these unreasonable expectations of happiness that are commonly drilled into new mothers. And yet, being a psychologist and having spoken to so many mom clients, I know that it is not uncommon for mothers to secretly have feelings of regret and wishing for their pre baby life. The problem is that voicing these true feelings again may lead to judgment and adding further to this mommy guilt. Now, these feelings of guilt often results in I am a bad mom, pushing a mom into deep judgment of the self, a constant comparing to others where a mom believes that she is consistently failing short. Now we need to start changing these thoughts. And I can give you one small hack how we can do it. Is by instead of focusing in on the thoughts associated with guilty feelings, for example, I should stop working, we need to replace this negative thought with something like, I am a more cheerful and patient mom because I work. So we need to shift the focus to how a particular break or an activity impacts our mental health. And when our mental health is better, obviously we'll be a better mom, a more patient one, a happier one. And that is going to impact the kind of parenting we are doing. Now, for some reason, a lot of us, even when asking a partner to take care of our kids for an hour, it can ignite some serious mom guilt. In this scenario, you are not only feeling guilty for wanting to be away from your kids, but we're also feeling guilty that you're putting all the work on your partner so that you can be selfish. The fact is, taking a break is not selfish. It's essential for your well being and your ability to keep going as a mom. So please remind yourself that your partner can handle this and that everyone deserves to take care of their needs. Personally, even for me, I think I learned it the harder way. I remember even after 15 months into having my baby, I used to come up with excuse after excuse as to why I shouldn't go for my workout Zumba session. Viana will want to nurse, she will cry, she has never been away from me for that long. I really need a workout? Or, I have stuff to do in the house and dozen more. The truth was, I just didn't think it was worth the time or even the effort. Or rather, I didn't think that I was worth the time or the effort. I let myself believe that leaving my baby to do something for myself meant neglecting her. I had become invisible to myself, and that is, I know, it's a very dangerous hole to fall into. And of course, it was much more than about workout. It was about my confidence and self worth. I didn't feel deserving of having a 2 hour break to take care of myself. Luckily, my husband continued to insist, so much so that I finally gave in. And as soon as I walked out of the house, closed the door, I was flooded with anxiety, regret, and I became so stressed that I could not keep myself from crying. But 20 minutes into the Zumba session, and after having some adult conversation, dancing to music, I understood why self care is so important. I felt so recharged just by doing an activity for an hour. And I could finally feel worthy again, that I was seen and important to myself. Valuing myself, I know it'll be a daily battle for sure, and it has been for the past couple of months as well. But I made a promise to myself that at least I'm going to try to do the things that bring me joy. Maybe play my guitar more often, go out with my girlfriends every once in a while, and to not feeling guilty for paying attention to myself. And I encourage all of you to do the same. We will be so much better moms when we find our worth and value ourselves. Please know that you matter as a person. I know that most of us were never taught anything about creating self care rituals or the importance of understanding how to incorporate self care into our daily schedules. Well, I wasn't taught anything of that sort, and I haven't heard anyone else reading about it or learning about it as well, because we just don't talk about this essential aspect of motherhood. And even when we do sometimes, somehow we've reduced mom self-care to a day spa visit. The regular suggestions that we all get: pamper yourself, go get a manicure, take a bubble bath. But do I really need to even explain the futility of this advice? When do we really have the time to go get a manicure? And even if I did get a manicure, my nails would chip about 2 hours later when I try to separate two Lego pieces that have somehow fused together. Right. So I'm certainly not knocking the value of pampering and alone time. But I think there's a problem when we assume that self-care means a spa treatment. Or more generally, that self-care means we need to escape. Because even if a frazzled mommy does manage to find the time and money to get away, she will quickly return to the same place where the frazzling began. And while her nails may look lovely, she hasn't acquired any practical tools to manage the quagmire of motherhood. So I think we need a true understanding of what self care is. So, to quote psychologist Christine Meinecke, she defines self care as choosing behaviors that balance the effects of emotional and physical stressors. So, exercising, eating healthy food, getting enough sleep, practicing yoga or meditation or relaxation techniques, pursuing creative outlets, engaging in psychotherapy. She also uh, emphasized on the essential need to self-care being, knowing how to self-soothe or calm our physical and emotional distress. So I know those things don't usually come wrapped in a pretty box of chocolates, right? Because self-care is a practice. It is a commitment we make to ourselves so that we may do the important work we are here to do. Self care for mothers means that we have a toolkit for daily living, not a break glass in case of emergency escape plan. Meaningful self care for mothers, it means that we feel truly nurtured and whole where we live day after day, in the crazy zoo of raising little children, because it's not just about a day, it's day after day. It means that we engage in sustainable and doable practices that promote well being and act as antidote to the frazzling created by the day to day work of parenting. It means we find ways to be present. It means we find ways to cultivate compassion for our children and for ourselves. It means we take time for silence, for prayer or meditation, or just 3 deep breaths so that we have a stillness and peace that sustains us during the crazy, busy, noisy moments of our day. So, there is no one definition of what constitutes a healthy self care. I think it's just about doing what you love. Like it can be a girls' brunch once a month, hitting the gym twice a week, or pursuing your hobby. A lot of experts suggest it's about finding a mix of whatever activities that leaves you feeling balanced, happy, and fulfilled. Yeah, I think fulfilled is quite a key word here. But don't forget your social life. I think that counts as self care too. I think every parent needs an adult night out each week. So please go out with your friends. Make that a part of your schedule. You'll be surprised what a difference it really makes to your mental health. I know that it may sound like an almost impossible task to many of you right now, but you can always start small. I remember that it was impossible for me as well, but I think I just started to just give that 5 minutes, to myself and gradually increase that. It really helped because I know that even if you are the busiest mom, you can squeeze in some time for self care, so find that 5 minutes, start there. That's all you have to do. Maybe just sit and look out the window, lay down on the floor and reach your arms to the sides, letting your heart open and expand. Take a few deep breaths. These are just a few ideas, there are 1,000 more, but essentially, just start with 5 minutes if nothing else. Most of the things that are good for you are also good for the kids. And having a happier, more patient mom is better for everyone, right? Plus, you're showing your children that joy and fun are important parts of life. So, as a psychologist, there's one another thing that I want to particularly add, which I think can be really helpful for a mother who is, dealing with the frazzled life, which is, learning the art of mindfulness. So, mindfulness, let's understand it a little bit. It's technically just a very simple technique which helps us be in the present. But I think in the context of motherhood, I think mindfulness is a practice that can help you soothe your screaming toddler as he throws a fit while eating. And it is a practice that can help you remain calm when your 5-year-old unexpectedly paints the wall of your drawing room. It is a practice that can help you be joyfully present for all the small, sweet moments in between. Isn't exactly that, what we want? I think it can just help you be the mom that you are and that you want to be, without being too hassled and, feeling anxious all the time. So, the best way to incorporate mindfulness into your day as a mom is start with small, simple steps that are achievable with your current lifestyle, such as doing a daily habit mindfully. So, maybe take a few moments to drink a cup of coffee or tea with awareness of your 5 senses. So, being aware of the touch, smell, sound, sights, and of course, the taste. Even mindful eating, can help a lot. So please eat without your phone. And after you've gotten familiar with practicing mindfulness for a short duration, gradually you can start incorporating it when you are with your child as well. So just being in the present moment fully without wanting to be elsewhere. This can be a great technique to help you be a calm person, a calmer mother, and to not lose your cool when something is going amiss. So I know that this can sound like something hard to do, but I think it's just about doing these little things consistently and more frequently. I'm sure there are things that you're already doing, but instead of doing it like once a month or once in a blue moon, try and make it your routine. And I think that's the key here: doing it every single day without guilt, knowing that it is essential for your well-being. And I think no matter where you are in your self-care journey, you can change it. If you're pregnant, you can decide to begin motherhood with the intention to always take great care of yourself. You might begin by building a support system for yourself before you even need it. I think this would include people who could help you with common early issues like nursing, laundry, or in helping you look for and interviewing possible nannies before the baby comes in, just to make sure that you can have a minute or two to yourself from time to time. I know that some days you will fall short, but if you decide to prioritize your own wellness, everything in your parenting journey will be better. And if you are a veteran mother that doesn't know where to start, you can just begin by having an eye to eye with yourself and deciding on the ground rules to refueling yourself. Just identify basic needs that you might have, like, and that might help you and make you feel fulfilled, like time with friends, reading a book, or just carving out consistent time to be alone at home, maybe with the help of your family, your partner, or whoever you deem fit. And the great news about taking care of yourself is that it allows you to share more of who you are with your family. On that note, let me come to your questions and see what you have as concerns, and I'll answer that. So we have a question by Madhavi. And I think that's an interesting question. Thank you for asking. The question is, how can we care for ourselves in this quarantine period? Because too much busy schedule as maid is not coming, cooking and having to take care of toddlers too. Madhavi, I think so many of us will be able to relate to this, especially in this quarantine time. We are short of help at home. And I know that there could be just a lot on our plate, possibly not something that which we can manage on day-to-day basis. So I think the first point would be Madhavi, is to acknowledge that it is a lot, and to acknowledge that it is not possible for us to do it all by giving it all of our own. I know that you will be able to do it if you wanted to, but it's by ensuring that you are doing it, um, and also acknowledging that that you need to delegate some of it. Being a heroic figure isn't helpful in the long run, so ensure that you are delegating some of the tasks. So whoever can help out with certain things. I know that there are things which you specialize in, which some people may not do it as good as you, but the idea is to not I think focus on perfection right now. The idea is to get the task done. So please delegate whatever task that you can, whether is by delegating it to your partner, or if your kid is old enough to understand a little bit and help you out in the daily chores. It's a great way of bonding, as well as keeping them entertained and occupied. I think the second thing is to just ensuring that you have some break where you can have time to yourself. Whether it's half an hour in the day, or just as much time that you can manage in this busy schedule, where even if it means just having this tea all by yourself alone, or just reading something, watching something for yourself. All I'm saying is that it's really important to put that self-care on a priority, whether it is this quarantine period or otherwise, because let's face it, that you will always be busy. You will always have something or the other, some need or the other that you have to cater to, because as a mother you have signed on to it, right? So the idea is to know that this is going to be a part of our life, always. So we need to just ensure that we are inculcating some form of self-care, no matter how busy your day is today. Let's take in next question. Um, the next comment, I think, is by Rivati Rajamani, and she's mentioned not much time for self, though having a planned day. I think, yeah, that's essentially what I meant. Of course, we are so bogged down with things to do that we don't have much time. But that's the thing, that's the thought process that we need to change, that we need to make time for it. We need to add it to our daily schedule, this time which is non negotiable, which is essential for your well-being and for your, of course, for your child's well-being as well, because if you are going to be a happier, a calmer mother, it's going to impact your child as well. Okay, so Archana, I think you've mentioned a hi. Would you have any question to ask? Okay. Um, until more questions are coming, I think all I have to say is it's about this thought process that we need to change. Just, by the questions also that you have asked, I don't think it is really about how busy or not you are, because you're going to be busy, that's for sure. I think it is just about ensuring that you have some specific time that you have set for yourself, no matter how busy your day is. And believe it or not, when you start doing that, people around you also will start respecting you for creating that time. They will start understanding that you require it, and automatically you will realize that things settle in. I think it's just about starting to do that without having guilt. And eventually they will all fall into place. Okay, so Archana's question is how can we care for ourselves as a mother in the lockdown period? Thank you for your question, Archana. So, of course, I know that it's the new normal now. It's not possible for us to go out and meet with our friends. Maybe that was a form of self care that we indulged in from time to time. So, obviously, it's not possible to do that, or even going out to take some fresh air, going out for dinners. Maybe all of these things are not possible in the current period. However, what is possible in the current period is just setting some time aside for yourself to do anything that makes you feel a little fulfilled. So it could be pursuing something creative, so like if you like painting or art, doing that, or indulging in some form of music if you like, um, or it could be doing some form of exercises, some workout. The idea is to just ensure that you have kept aside some time, and it's just your time, like we call it me time, wherein do whatever it is that you like to do that'll make you feel relaxed, happier, and fulfilled. So one thing that I really like to do and that I have been doing in this lockdown, and it's helping me a lot, is journaling. Just putting my thoughts down during the day, my feelings, etc. It really helps me gain a lot of perspective, and it helped me feel very calm and peaceful by the end of it. It's almost like a vent out that I have, but for all the good things and the bad things that are happening during the day. And I think it's a great exercise to really do in the lockdown. If not that, a lot of us don't like writing. It could be about just reading a nice book, anything that helps you feel a little productive, happy, entertained, maybe. Yeah, anything basically. But just ensure that you're doing it. You're setting aside some time, because it's really, really important. So having said that, I think I'll end my chat here unless there are more questions. I'm just going to wait for another 1 or 2 minutes. In case there are questions, I'll answer. Yes, thank you, Archana. I'm glad to have answered your question. So all of you, thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you have really nice next few days. Please incorporate self-care. So with that note, thank you and bye-bye.